Hello there. Hello there. How are you? I'm Wyatt. You might remember me from some videos with a guy named David. He's my friend. And you might be coming from some of his URLs. And like I promised in his last video, I am going to make a video on Schnitzel storyline. So, let's go. So, the first part is vocabulary. Stuff you might remember him mentioning a thing called Bosnier. He is basically knockoff Galactus from Marvel. He was planning on eating the Schurzka point, a knockoff 0 point, and is a fusion of two other knockoff 0 points called the Schnitzel and Merzika point. Merzika was a rival company, then a friend company. And they eventually and Schnitzel and Merzika merged to create Schurzka. So yeah. Wyatt, starred in that book along with multiple others like Oliver, Xander, David, etc. So the first few books. The first book, called The War of Schnitzel Inc., was basically all of Schnitzel versus a guy named Lucas and his robotic henchman. He was after the self-destruct button that starred in Schnitzel 2.0 and a video on how to make it. And except he was foiled by a force field made by Xander that basically turned everything metal into dust, and he eventually he got foiled. His plan really got foiled by a decoy self-destruct button, and he was imprisoned, and the day was saved. Then episode 2, the Schnitzel Crisis, was the stardom of two new characters, Susie and Ellie. And Lucas, once again, tried to use an evil plot, but instead of trying to destroy Schnitzel, he wanted the power of the Schnitzel point. Except, once again, his plan was foiled, and the day was saved. And except Lucas caused some massive damage to the 0 point, and, Schnitzel point, sorry. And, the day was saved, pretty much. Wasn't that the one Lucas turned good, or was that episode 3? Yeah, Lucas joined our side in that one, so it went pretty good as well. Then episode 3, the beginning of Merzika against Schnitzel. Merzika went for the Schnitzel point with rockets, red, white, and blue rockets, and their plan almost succeeded, but it ended up destroying the entirety of the island where Schnitzel was found, and yeah, and they also collapsed the Schnitzel point in on itself, or just collapsed it. I honestly don't know. Then after that, there was then episode 4 came along, which was yeah. I forgot to mention that, David, found 2 shards of the Schnitzel and, Merzika points and merged them into the Schurzka point. Or at least just merged the shards together. And that's where episode 3 left off. Episode 4 was basically chapter 2, season 1. Chapter 2, season 1, yeah. Which was basically a, and then basically they got introduced to Boss Near, and the two companies merged to fight the emerging threats, and it was a big happy ending. And Wyatt found a crown, found a golden crown saying he will betray. I wonder what that means. Episode 5 came along, and Mr. Florell was getting a bunch of deformities. His eyes were turning golden. His right eye was throbbing, and his skin was going extremely pale. They basically talked it over with some of the Schnitzel and Merzka members. They said that they feel bad for him. Then, in the middle of the night, Wyatt went to go look at the Shurska point because it was going crazy, I think. Then, after that, he got a bit too close to it again, I think, and he got sucked in, and he saw a vision of David Carell's, the guy who's actually making the videos, writing the story. And then David pulled a John Jones and went and wait. Can you hear me? Hear me? Then he gets shot out of the 0 point. His hair went full black. His Shurska again. Sorry. Then he cut him. Then he got a scar, and his hair went black, and he went blind in one eye. Forgot to mention that. Then he went and then he turned into Midas Florell. Then he kidnapped Xander in the middle of the night and used a syringe to suck the IQ out of him. Or at least not the IQ out of him, like the IQ to build stuff. And he teleported out when the gang ran into the room where Xander's IQ of building stuff got sucked out of him. Xander said why it's evil, and they went to the Merzka side, and they all agreed that if Wyatt's actually bad, then they might have to I think. Is that how it went? I don't know. Then he went off, and he set a trap for the members of Schnitzel by teleporting in the original Schnitzel map, the one that you got a tour from David's channel. And the security cameras were golden, and they realized it's a trap. Then Midas Florell came out of nowhere and did a monologue on how things changed. And then he teleported them all to a prison and addressed to everyone, "They're all fictional." And he basically gave David a scare. Then episode 5 happened. And I forgot to mention, Oliver got turned to gold. Okay, what else is there? So, then episode 6 came along. They got out of the prison cells, and I'm probably glossing over a ton of different facts, but then Cal got turned into Wyatt's butler. And then, on another time, Midas began work. Lucas and Xander, who didn't know how to build stuff, but he knew how to design stuff, and Lucas knew how to build stuff. So they worked together on creating the device. Well, Midas took a shard of the Shurska point and was using it to create the largest storm ever created to destroy all reality. and basically, like, end the fictional world so they can all get back to to the, thing. Or maybe or maybe he just wanted to destroy all reality. I can't really remember. Then, basically, a whole, like, craze, then, like, the final battle, not the final battle, but one of the final battles between Schnitzel and, Midas, happened, and Schurzka and Midas happened, when, Lucas put, put the device on the top of, Merzka HQ. And that basically, and Midas was about to annihilate them when David pulled a Harry Potter, I think, or something around that, and basically said this is his story, and Midas began to get pushed back, and then a minute later, he got pushed back so much, he got pushed into the Schurzka point. 0 point. Yeah, he got pushed into the center of all realities, or the 0 point. And that was the end of him. Then, Bosnier comes out of nowhere and tries to destroy some stuff. And that's basically all there is for the Schnitzel storyline so far. I will make an updated version of this video when the final few books are released. Good day.